unlike J. Cole and Kendrick, this Sunday we get some resolution. It's the game that everyone marked on their calendar for the 2024 regular season as for the first and only time before the playoff tournament. The Paterson U and the Trenton BIC will face off in our 4 o'clock slot this Sunday. Welcome to the 3-on-1 podcast. I'm your host, Matt Ryan, joined as always by Cory Hammond. We have a special guest, but we have someone returning to the show on location from the hospital.
On location is crazy. What's good, y'all? I'm dying. I'm sick as a dog, bro. I don't even know what's wrong yet. But I couldn't miss this episode, bro. It's the big one before the big one. I couldn't miss this episode.
I mean, I'm excited for Watchmen Renegades too, guys. So I'm just, we're just gearing up.
Oh, yeah, and we're not going to have Cory this Sunday on the mic for any of the games of the week.
Oh, wow. Word.
It'll be the Matt and Rob show. It'll be the Vest Boys.
The Vest Boys.
Even if we have to drag Rob out there with all the wires and shit, if we have to get a hospital bed in the broadcast bunker, I think we're going to do it. But
I'm in there.
Joining us on the show is someone that gets shouted out quite frequently on this program and on the games of the week. He is a cornerstone at the tight end, offensive line, and defensive line position, holding them back however possible. He's Karnell Wactor, a.k.a. K-Wack. K-Wack, why you do that?
Why did I do that?
Well, welcome back to the show, Wack. Always love having you on. We had Snag Sosa on last week, so due to the equal time provision, we needed to have someone on from the BIC before your game, and we will get into the BIC and the U.
And we did, and we made a few calls. At 13th call, we got to Kate. No, I'm just joking.
That's hilarious.
But we want to start this off with the top 10, and it feels like this week the top 10 would be very controversial, gentlemen, because of things going on across the A7FL, things that happened and, didn't happen. And those games actually will be resolved a little bit later on in the season. For more information on that, you would have heard the other side of the ball. This week, Terminator Timeline, we're recording this on Tuesday night, so hopefully we won't have to edit this podcast. But in terms of the top 10, we start at number 10. And Cory, when it comes to this list, there's so much volatility. But at the 10 and 9 spot, there's a little bit of a hold steady, as we're going to combine the 10 and 9 spot as holding patterns for the Force and Sick with it. Force at 10, Sick at 9, because they did not play their Week 2 game as of yet in the A7FL. So can't take them off the list because, they're really blameless in the situation.
Could have just left them close to where they were, but that'll just be my 2 cents.
Living list. This season, it's a living list. We're trying a living list. But we go to the 8th spot, and a team, Rob, that you may not think is up to standard, but when you take a look at the national standings across the A7FL, the Covington Heist are near the top. They are in the 5 spot in terms of net points in the A7FL. More net points. They're outscoring their opponents 85-30. They are undefeated, and they are higher than the Paterson U, Sick with it, OTT Kryptonite, and the Baltimore Watchmen in the rankings in the A7FL this season in terms of national standings. Trenton BIC being at the top, the Chaos in the 2 slot there. But the Covington Heist coming in at number 8. Cory, a team that's firing on all cylinders, a team that we expected to perform well, but this past week showing that they may be a team to beat in the Midwest Division.
Well, and if you talk about them preseason, right? They lose a guy like Seth Chambers, who you thought would, be a net negative for them. They are being led on offense by beleaguered and kind of cast off from the Chaos offensive coordinator. Skylar Hurd which was kind of used as a scapegoat for the offense of that Sin City squad, the real Sin City, and you could look at them and preseason think like, how are they going to get better? But I think at least through 2 weeks, and we'll see when the chaos and the heist eventually square off, they seem to have put something together that's clicking. And whether it's we'll find out later, because the competition they're facing, needs a little improving, maybe. But in general, you got to go with the results that are there. And although, to be clear, again, Sikwit would roast and absolutely torture the heist, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm not letting this go. Sikwit would murder the heist, and maybe they'll get a chance to prove me wrong. The heist deserve to be in the top 10, and I love that they're climbing because it means that the chaos need to stay focused as well. But shout outs to the heist for getting another big win, another dominating win. And it seems like not only them, but the Ohio division, which has been, a relevation, which is just an inside Disney, the movie Good Dinosaur, Kelly Hurst, there's a Disney deep cuts for you. It's a revelation, the Ohio division, and specifically the heist, to me, deserve the 8th spot in the A7FL top 10.
And whack this team in the number 7 spot is a team that you'll be playing in your final game of the season, a team that took a loss this past week to the Paterson U, but the Silk City Animals staying in the top 10 and impressing people. David Tender not having a great first drive. Some people in the chat on Creator Sports Network, and these guys, if they are not finding us this week, we are not on CSN this week, so if you have found us through Creator Sports Network, you're going to have to watch us on A7FL.TV, DAZN internationally, HBCU Plus, or, of course, on Caffeine. But when you take a look, Whack, at the Animals, this is not the team that we saw in 2022 or 2021. It's not even the same team we saw in 2023 with Huff. This feels like a team that is doing that did everything that we've been saying the Snow Tribe should do the last couple of off seasons.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna have that 3rd spot in the East.
You think before we get to there, you think that the Animals are a better squad than the Watchmen?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they're not ranked that high, so I guess we can talk about that later.
Because I'm gonna give it to you straight. I don't even think BIC is scoring 45 points on the U. Am I wrong, Whack? I think the U and BIC is going to be a very low scoring game. I don't think it's going to be 25, 30 maybe, but nobody's putting 45 on anyone.
How many 3-on-1s were scored total in the game though? Because you got a couple.
Oh, 4.
Wait, how much you got to score? How much you got to score, Big Rob?
You got to score 45 points on the U.
I think we're gonna be around there.
Yeah, K-Wack probably will say
38 to 40, like 42.
No exaggeration. He's going to say that it's going to be 90-0. All that kind of stuff.
40 every game this season.
42. 42 to 45.
Nah, we're not. Our defense not giving them. We're not. They might get 28 most.
You know what? We'll get to you in a second. Let's continue. Shouts to the Animals though.
But listen, they
excited
did
from this new look Animals. David Tender, you know what I'm saying? This is your first time out there. Yes, your first drive was horrendous, but the rest of your game was nothing but impressive. The kid got a smile.
That's my recruit.
Hey, listen, you lost him.
No,
I'm saying that kid has a smile that can light up the league. He's a franchise guy. You feel me? Like that young team, hopefully they stay together. Hopefully they add more pieces. The Animals are officially a threat in my book.
And after Sunday's games, Matt was there. Matt and I and Ryan DePaul and a couple other guys, we were just kind of chopping it up. And one of the guys we were chopping it up with was Quattrell Huffin. And when you look at the Animals this year, just like when you were looking at the U last year, it's hard to not kind of talk about the relationship to Huff because them losing Huff was one of the big storylines. But to me, it's interesting because, look, shout outs to Bebo, shout outs to DT.
God, here we go.
No, just hold on. When we were talking to Huff even said, and it wasn't like a indictment on Huff himself, but he was even saying that the Animals put up way more points this year against the U than they had when Huff was there, albeit in the rain and a lot of different things. I think the hot take for me would be that maybe I wouldn't go as far as saying that the Animals are better at quarterback. I think that's asinine. But I do believe that the Animals roster this year is better than the Animals roster was last year, whether it's the way that they work together, what they learned from Huff kind of coming into this year.
You sound very shy. You sound very shy in saying what you're trying to say, and I'm not giving Huff any damn credit. The Animals this year are better than they were with Huff last year. I said it live. I said it live on camera, and I said it was simply because last year we never called them the Animals. We didn't respect the roster. We didn't respect the players. Only a few guys shined, and Huff made them shine. This year, they're on their own, and the team overall is better than the team that was there last year because they don't have Huff to rely on to make the game-saving tackle or throw the amazing touchdown pass. These dudes have to dig deep and bring the dog out. And that's why I like this Animals team way better than I like the Huffables.
Well, and last year they didn't have guys like Divine Epps. They didn't have guys like Manny Diaz. They didn't have guys like DT. They had guys that were doing things, just not that level of consistency.
They
where
were
you look
the
at the future and you're
Huffables.
like, yeah, these guys.
So can I ask that a question?
Maybe.
What's the difference from week 1 to week 2 with the Animals?
Between who?
With the Animals.
Oh.
I think we got to see more of them, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
We got to see them play against fuller competition.
I think it was?
What was it?
It was the formation. The double tight too wide. The U struggle against that formation.
Yeah, because they're max protecting right there. That's necessary to go against a D-line that strong.
Let's also not hide the lead, though, too. Who was missing from the U sideline that I think would make a big difference in the overall?
Nobody.
Ryan Shamar's nobody?
Bro, the U scored 65 points. You're telling me.
And what does Ryan usually work on?
Hold on. Their defense didn't give up 45 points. Their special teams gave up 2 scores, and they ran back a pick 6. That's 3 touchdowns that the defense had nothing to do with. And I was debating that on live because guys, our corners aren't here, such and such. What? Bro, who cares who's not? Who cares? Whoever showed up, that team that I saw out there from the U didn't look like they were missing anybody. What, Nick Mays wasn't there? Okay, so what? Isaac was. Big Mo was. His brother was. You know what I'm saying? So they have enough players. So that whole such and such was missing. The U can't get away with that because I know BIC can't get away with that. I'm not letting teams get away with, such and such wasn't here, so things were different. Man, shut that soft shit up.
We don't have to give them a break on it, but it was part, in my opinion, maybe part of because we always get back to on the 3-on-1 podcast, the manager, what's his role, is he important kind of thing, and I would argue that we've learned a lot about how important Ryan Shamar is, and when he doesn't have a baby coming, and he isn't, unable to sleep. Remember that was your excuse why they lost the chip that one year? Yeah, maybe it's why they also allowed a little bit more extra points to the Animals this week.
No, Cory, that was 2 years ago. Let it go.
You let it go. I disagreed with you up front. Now I'm on your side, and then you're flip-flopping.
You're not on my side. You're not. I don't flip-flop. Every year, Cory, your problem is you don't let it go. Every year, every game, every situation is different. You're telling me Ryan
and
Shamar
every time you have a take about something.
Hold on. You're telling me Ryan Shamar needed to be there to stop the Animals from scoring 45. Please
maybe
stop.
45.
Bro. Please stop. Bro, there was nobody missing that was so relevant that, oh my God, the Animals scored 40. Bro, you can call the Animals scoring 45 an accident. You can call it they got better. I'm not going to ever say that you got worse. I don't see that.
Well, how many points did the U score? Because I think that's important too.
I need to point something out.
What?
This is the first sports show in North America, if not the world, to ever have a hot take debate to where one of the panelists is in the fucking emergency room. I
really like that.
We're breaking ground here.
I don't know whether to be proud or feel like I'm abusing my friendship with Rob.
I'll be proud, man.
Listen, Rob.
Because we were like, Rob, don't do the show this week. You're in the fucking hospital. We have whack. We'll be fine. I opened the Zoom. First motherfucker here. First person here.
Rob is very times when he's missing this podcast, busy as hell doing shit. Let me just say that sitting in that fucking bed, he is not busy at all. He is bored. He is ready to rock, and he's got hot takes, flaming hot takes.
I'm watching baseball, bro. You know I'm ready.
That's
exactly.
Sad. That's
I'm ready.
sad. You poor baby.
But
tell him to turn on DAZN. You can catch some reruns of you talking.
The road to the ORB Bowl this Sunday. There is an orb that will be given to the winner of this game. The other orb does not get given out, but the Rochelle orb will be given out this Sunday at 4.
So the animals, So the animals are at 7. Again, another team that, in my opinion, should be below sick with it. But anyway,
a team that took an L in week 1 and fell to the very bottom of the list is back in the middle. At number 6, it is the Baltimore Watchmen, who won what we were told a 28-6 game, and some others have said a 28-16 game. So
that's that buzz math. They're doing that buzz math.
So someone over in the DMV went to the wrong school.
A little buzzy over there.
But Matt, I'm not gonna hold you.
Uh-huh.
I didn't, because this top 10 this week was already chippy.
Yeah.
So I didn't even want to argue this point. But the Watchmen should be below the Animals, and I'm gonna tell you why. The score of that game was 6-7 until the fourth quarter.
Huh.
And then the buzz fell apart. And they fell apart because there's a bunch of new players, don't understand the game. The buzz fell apart. But the score was 6-7 beginning of the fourth quarter. C'est la vie, man. Do with that as you will, fella.
So another team that should be below sick with it. Hi, Watchmen. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. So that's not really what I mean. Don't kill me, Freight Train. I know we've had our differences.
But that the Watchmen getting a win in week number 2. This week they play the Renegades in Baltimore, the reason why we won't have Cory on the mic this Sunday. But
there's a couple other reasons maybe, but
there's a lot of reasons.
Listen, but Snag said it when he was on with us last week. The thing about the Baltimore on Baltimore games is it's deeper than just the rosters, because it's really the only matchup that we're going to see between them this season, a Baltimore on Baltimore game. There's hidden rivalries down the roster between individuals, between former teammates, all those kinds of rivalries, and for it to have been a close game until it wasn't, just kind of goes to show what the Buzz are trying to build. And shout out to Keith Salmons and Loud and all those guys down there trying to figure it out. Shout out to Mark Diggs and Lenny Hedrick III, getting on FaceTime calls. But the Watchmen to me are at 5 because, we see what they can be. Like Rob said, if you look at the Animals games and the Watchmen games, they have a common opponent, and the score differential a little bit weird there. They have the similar opponent in Buzz and Renegades, and we could talk about those games and how they're kind of similar. But to me, I think putting the Watchmen up here, it's one of those moves where we kind of know that the Watchmen are good, and we'll see Sunday, what they do against the Renegades traveling from New Jersey down to Baltimore. It's a home game for the Watchmen. They should take care of business. But if they're entering the fourth quarter against the Buzz, and it's a 7-6 game, I think there's a lot that the Watchmen still have to prove to really earn the deference that we give to them, and rightfully so. I think based on who they are and who they have, they should be respected. But we'll see. With hopefully, I'll speak for my guys. We're looking to try to give them a tough game, and I'm excited for that drive, as I always am.
Well, after I just bit my knuckle to the point to where it almost bled, we will go to the number 5 part of the top 10, and that is a team that has caused a lot of chaos, which makes sense because that's their name. The Sin City Chaos at 5. To me, it feels like that's going to be where they live for the majority of the season, unless something goes completely crazy in the Midwest or the Northeast, like if the Animals beat the Watchmen, or if the Animals beat the BIC, or like if some random variable happens to where a team drops or rises high. That it feels like that's the high watermark for a Ohio team is 5. To me, that feels like the high. That seems like where it would be.
Well, and I know Rob wants to get this one because of the love, but they are where I think they deserve to be. They're undefeated. Their point differential is always crazy. They dominate Ohio division games. They're going to have that heist game, which I think the last time those teams played, you look at the regular season was blow up, but in the the playoff game that decided who went to the Final Four. Pick 6 in overtime decided it. So I think, Chaos taking care of business. They should be happy where they are. They should continue to look to keep progressing with their game. But when they face that heist team, that's the danger zone. If they're more worried about the national ranking and if they can get up above the Insomniacs, which even if the Insomniacs were to lose or BIC were to lose or the U were to lose, I don't think that should be their goal is our list, even though I know that they're listening intently and love the content, especially Rob's content. But for me, if they can take care of business, it really doesn't matter where they line up on the top 10. But being at 5, that's respectable, to be honest. Look at the teams that are below them, including Sick With It.
It's a fair point. And when you take a look around the rest of the A7FL, there's really only 4 teams that exist in the upper echelon in the league. And at the 4th spot is a team that got a win, had a very emphatic day on offense, showed why the MVP is an MVP and why Jason Sisson is an MVP candidate. But it is the
Why does Rob look so happy about this?
It's the Paterson U.
The
at
Paterson
the 4th spot,
U
falling from number 1
4.
to the 4th spot.
It gets uglier than.
What do we mean? What do we mean to say by that? Because after week 1, we saw what they did to the Watchmen, who we bumped up after a win against the Buzz, which Rob explained wasn't even really that impressive, right? So when we look at the U, we say week 1, we're like, oh, that's the best team in the league. And then the next week they play the Animals, and it looks like that they got to kind of, a couple weaknesses they got to work on, at least as the season progresses. What do you think is the biggest reason for their drop?
Other teams stepped up. The Nightcrawlers had a historic offensive performance and made a team fucking quit in the 3rd. The Insomniacs, same, under different circumstances. And the BIC had a much better performance against a team that many would consider at the level or in the area of the Animals. So when you put it within that and you juxtapose it to the week before, to where we thought the Watchmen, the defending Northeastern champions, even though they were a bit dysfunctional, they're still a great team on paper, and the U beat the fucking brakes off of them, to the Animals making it a 2-score game.
There's the problem.
Yeah. It's just those running lanes make it really hard to keep the U at number 1.
At 1, yeah.
And
we got to be consistent.
I'd say bouncing between 1 and 4 is going to happen a lot between now and the rest of the season.
It's the thing is we got to remain consistent, right?
Yeah.
One of the things we said when the Insomniacs lost the number 1 spot was the Insomniacs had a good game against the Force, which is a team that shouldn't really be able to hang with them. And we respect the Force so much from a loss, we put them on the list. We put them in the top 10. Same thing with the Watchmen. They made the top 10 after a loss. The thing here is the Animals kind of did the same thing on a grander scale against a team that I almost consider is better. So with that, and then just to do that and then do it bigger than the Watchmen did, the Watchmen didn't score 20. The Animals scored 45. Not only did they do that, but because the Animals scored 45, they pushed BIC in front of the U. You don't understand what a score like that does to the power rankings when you really under net points and you get to digging in that, because that's really what the real rankings are, right? The number rankings. That's great.
And if we looked at that, if we looked at the rankings, if we pull it up here, when we look at the standings in the Northeast, if I can just hold on one second, because now I had this fucking thing up and it's not there anymore. Piece of shit.
But they did something, in my opinion, the Animals did something big. It was bigger than just looking better, looking like a better team.
Yeah, I've got the thing. Hold on.
You're gonna cut this.
I was gonna fill it if you wasn't.
I don't. Hey, Big Rob, I don't think people really thinking about that. Like 45 is crazy.
Wait for the takes though. Wait for the takes because I don't know if he's got to go into it because he's gonna cut all this shit we just.
No. So when we're looking at it, at the top of the list in net points is the BIC.
Right.
In terms of net points, the U isn't at the 6th spot. It's 45. But 45 in any other situation is great. But when the Covington Heist, the Insomniacs, the Nightcrawlers, the Chaos, and the BIC are in front of you, it's the Heist with 55, Insomniacs with 63, and then you get in the sicko mode with the Nightcrawlers at 82, the Chaos at 84, and the BIC with 88.
Come on now. 45 hurts. So to me, the Animals putting up 45 is bigger than just, oh, they're impressive, oh, they got better. No, they put up 45. That just fucked up everything for the U. Because I don't think any team is putting up 45 against BIC. That's a mistake on their part that they're going to end up regretting. You get what I'm saying? The head-to-head this Sunday is even more important now. It's way more important now because of what the Animals did. Can you believe that? Are we seriously talking about what the Animals did? Yes. It's 2024, and we are. Say la vie, man.
And the U is the highest scoring offense, the second highest scoring offense in the league. They're ahead of the BIC. They're ahead of every team but the Nightcrawlers. They've outscored their opponents 108 to 63.
63.
Yeah.
45 of that came from the Animals. I rest my case, man. Shouts to the Animals.
And when it comes to that 63, it puts them within top 6, top 10 in points given up in the league. But that variable,
all of that, all of that leads to, in about approximately, let's say 5.5 days, none of what we just fucking said will matter if they fucking take care of business this weekend. So I think what's awesome is that with this top 10, we can kind of, and we also talked about this with Huff a little bit too, we can almost influence how teams are going to approach weeks, matchups, games this whole season based on some of the conversation because people are paying attention. And to look at what the U were able to do week 1, say that, wow, that to us, based on what we just saw, looks like the best team in the league. Coming back in week 2 and almost kind of like with the red pen and going from an A+ to like almost like a C-, like, uh-oh, guys. It puts them on notice that there's those things that they have to worry about as well, which is kind of a perfect segue to maybe lead into our number 3 team, Matt, which would be
the Las Vegas Insomniacs coming in at number 3 in the top 10 this week, getting a 50-0 win over the Hunters after Chuck Norris came in, threw in the towel and said, stop the fight, stop the fight. Somebody, please, for the love of God, stop the fight. And they did. And everything else. But for more information on that, you can go to the other side of the ball. But the Insomniacs staying towards the top of the top 10, staying undefeated at the number 3 spot. Makes sense. I think that heading into week number 3 for them, it's going to be about keeping up that consistency on defense. Scooter Hamilton did not play. RTC and Kenny Mack did. Luciano was in a quarterback, but very interesting to see RTC Wilkerson and Kenny Mack on the field this past Sunday. But when we look ahead to the schedule for them, they play the Pit Bosses this Sunday. So good luck, bro, to them. But, Wack, when you look at the Insomniacs, what, if anything, do you see as a former defending champion in this league that they may run into, that you guys ran into last season?
I'll say, like, the energy part of it. Keeping the same energy. It's hard to keep the same energy when you coming off that championship run. Everybody getting lazy. You feel me? Relaxed. And take their foot off the gas.
And without going into it further, it feels like the situation going on over there has kind of galvanized the Insomniacs to be more focused on this run, or at least try to run it back. And their path in terms of everybody else's is the clearest. It's the running lane is there. The only thing that really stands in their way, because they played the Force week 1, is Sick with It. And then once we're in the national tournament, it's anybody's guess.
Well, I don't know about anybody. I mean, you know, maybe I'm an asshole.
Rob, I gotta.
I mean, no, I agree. You know what? I definitely agree with that, right? I do think because of the Force's performance, they threatened the West Coast. Unfortunately, we didn't get Sick versus Force, which is what we were supposed to get on Sunday, right?
No, Sick was going to be OTT, the mighty OTT.
Is Sick Force this Sunday? I think it's this Sunday, bro.
I thought that was week 5, but no, week 5 is Sick with It, Insomniacs, isn't it?
Those games are very important. Sick Force is important because I need to see that game. I need to see where Sick with It stands with the Force. The winner of that game, in my opinion, is the true number 2, regardless of what ends up happening later, unless it's a 3-way situation, which I probably don't think it'll be. Because if the Force handles Sick with It, which is not what I'm saying is going to happen, but if they do, we know what's going on. We know it's Insomniacs, and they got to get rid of the Force somehow, some way, because they're a legit threat.
Yeah, but can I just say, just real quick, and I know that I'm killing the show, so you're welcome, guys, but
probably not quick.
Who would have had, if they were wagering, Cory Hammond being the Sick with It apologist on week 2 after some of the things that have been said this offseason, right?
Isn't
that
I would have had it.
I would have had it.
Yeah, I would have had it.
All right, fair. Maybe you guys should. Maybe you guys should wager more then. I don't know.
I'm not bad betting.
Let's go to our number 2 team, and it is, well, I'm going to wait for K-Wack to finish his drink. It is a team that is undefeated, a team that in week 2 had a really stellar performance against competition that was ready but not able to climb the mountain that is this team. And it is the Trenton BIC, the BIC in the 2 spot, moving up in the top 10, getting into the number 2 spot. Great effort from Sterry Codrington and Ashante Worthy. I'll pull up some stats here. Sterry was 15 for 18, 355 yards, 6 touchdowns.
Crazy.
2 rushes for 119 yards. On the season, he is completing 79.3% of his passes. He's 25 for 29, 587 in terms of yards, 10 tutties, 1 interception, a 144 passer rating. Then you got Ashante Worthy with 203 yards and 2 touchdowns on 7 receptions. Kason Campbell, 112 yards off of 3 receptions, 2 of them for tutties. John Columbia with 3 sacks. Rashad Knight in the ice cream truck with 2 sacks. K-Wack, Trey Robinson, and Ole Bell both have a sack apiece. And heading into and we'll go into more of this when we talk about BIC and U. But
Juan Williams, 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
Holy.
On the season, not last
week.
On
the season, bro.
Yeah, it didn't pick me off.
That's still
you horny as hell. Look at you. He didn't pick me up.
Others did.
Yeah,
I didn't say
did.
I just not that motherfucker. But anyway,
I know you're happy it wasn't Dwan. If you gave him his 4th interception on the year,
I wasn't.
Now he gets to talk to us crazy and say DMVP, and
I literally, and we talked about this pre-show. I literally in the game during an actual play that mattered, I literally said to our guest, "Fuck you," to his face, and he was right there. He was like in my face. But it's all love. I mean, still fuck him, but whatever.
You know what it was?
What?
It was that afro. It was that afro outside.
Bro, it was you doing the thing that you do against me once every fucking game. You get that fucking one big play. Yeah, I was so mad to see your face.
I thought I was playing against San Falco from the replacements.
Oh my god, bro. Yo, K-Wack, don't do that.
What do you mean? I got a haircut. I don't have the Shane Falco. That was classic.
And that's a callback to our football podcast episode. I don't know if that episode ever aired, but I put the replacements on my top football movies list.
I was there. I was with that.
But we go to our number 1 team, and this team just makes teams quit. They're the fucking Roberto Duran of the A7FL. Because they'll lose. When they get dropped in spectacular fashion.
Big facts.
But when they beat people the fuck up, jumping G-Hosey fat, they beat the brakes off of people. It wasn't a record-setting performance, mainly because they had to stop the game in the 3rd quarter because the O-Town Orange had enough.
Bro, they would have dropped 100.
Whenever the Nightcrawlers play, you get one of 2 things. You either get a blowout of epic proportions that isn't watchable or streamable on television because you would have to rate it like XXX because of the brutality, or it's among the greatest games in the history of the 10 years of this league. It's not anywhere in between. It's one or the other, right?
Yeah, they must watch.
But you look at the Nightcrawlers; they're either winning, 1,013, and that's the scores, guys. Don't at me, right? 2-0, or it's biting your fingernails until the last play of the game because this is the greatest games you'll ever see. And shout outs to the Nightcrawlers, the NC as we use in our group chat to because Nightcrawlers, over the years that we've had
to type in a group chat
podcast, because the first joke I ever said was the Nightcrawlers at the flag. But is the Nightcrawlers at number 1?
I got a question.
Way that they're absolutely murdering their opponents in division. Does that say? Because we know who the Nightcrawlers are.
I don't think that says anything. I don't think that's saying anything. That's not even what I'm really.
Is that how great the Insomniac?
No.
Is that how great the Nightcrawlers are? Or
yes.
Without Mark Bagway, without Logo Davis, without a lot of those guys, and shout outs to, I heard Deontay Henderson's out there playing Cory. Nasty work, bro. Nasty work. But anyway, go ahead.
Breathe. Give it a second. K-Wack.
Yes,
K-Wack.
No.
This is.
But the question is.
Let him ask the question, Cory.
Is it an indictment?
His internet is fucking up. His internet's fucking up.
My bad.
It's not, Cory. I know what you're trying to bash the Florida division. Give it a rest. I know you hate them right now because they talk bad about you. Just let it go.
Those guys.
Anyway, sure you do. Anyway, a serious question, K-Wack. Do you think the U and BIC are not paying enough attention to the Nightcrawlers.
Yes.
You are an honest guy. Why not?
Because if you want to be real, I watched the tape, and the competition they playing is terrible. Like, I'm talking about, you got linemen splits that's 5 yards apart.
Okay.
It's terrible all the way around.
No, okay. And I'll give you that, right? It is terrible. But they weren't so terrible that they beat a team that beat y'all.
Yeah.
And beat the U. So when you guys are saying terrible, this is the same competition they played last year. But last year, they still somehow beat the Watchmen, which all in all, in my heart of hearts, was embarrassing. Because we talk so much shit about how the Northeast is this and the Northeast is that. And you know how I was so mad at you for letting these dudes do y'all like that. And then watch, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
That's why I always preach it's all about matchups.
Yeah, BIC didn't
lose to the Watchmen. Certain teams match up differently with certain teams. Like, for example, look how I played out last year. We beat the Watchmen. So you beat us.
But y'all beat the
How I played out. It's about the matchups.
But do you think after watching what
I think we can match up with the Nightcrawlers because we got a speedy type defense. We got a fast defense. So if they were to go to that 4 wide formation they like to use so much, we got the speed to match it.
You don't think for 1 second that the revenge? You've been here long enough. You feel like you have a reason to fight back to get to the chip. The U feels like there's a reason to fight back to get to the chip. The Watchmen feel like that as well. You don't think out of everyone in the Northeast or the East in general, the Nightcrawlers don't have the most reason to fight back to get back to that chip? They're on a revenge tour. And I think y'all in the way.
Everybody in the way. Everybody feels the same way about each other.
I don't know, man. I think y'all not giving them enough respect. If you run into them, you really think y'all got them. No hesitation. Y'all full squad versus their full squad. You think there's no way they beat you guys?
No. Especially full squad, no.
Okay. Well, that's all I wanted to know.
That's funny. The question that you had for KWAC ended up in my point. Huh? That's interesting. But
no one knew what your point was. You just be talking.
No, my point is that the Nightcrawlers are murdering the teams out there. They're a good team, no questions asked. But what is that saying about what they're doing to the competition without maybe their 2 best players, maybe their 3 best players?
The Nightcrawlers
I do love
bounds ahead of everybody in Florida. You don't.
Absolutely.
Cory, stop lying. This is what you do. You lie to these leagues, these players, these teams. I love you. Then when they do something wrong, here come double space Cory attack. It's over. Once you see that double space, you know you're in trouble. You know
and I one of the biggest double space attacks that I did was Sickwit, who I've been championing this whole pod. Anyway.
Yeah, you're confusing them, man. They don't know if you love them or hate them.
Well, let me just put it this.
How do you neg an entire division?
Listen, if I care about something, I will criticize it so it improves. That's where it's coming from. The criticism is coming from a place of love.
Cory gonna smack one of these Vegas guys.
That team was that the Nightcrawlers displayed. It was to the point where you know how bad that team was that the Nightcrawlers displayed.
Yeah. Did we lose them? Because I can't hear
me.
You're cutting in and out, Wack. You may want to turn your video off and just leave your audio on.
Hospital Wi-Fi, you heard me? They gave me the good Wi-Fi this hospital.
Yeah, you sound the clearest out of all of us.
Listen, I don't know. While I'm watching the U win their game. I'm watching BIC win their game. I'm looking at those 2 teams and I'm analyzing and I'm doing this analyst thing and I'm like, man, it's like rock, paper, scissors choosing at which point which team would do what to what team. BIC's run defense is horrendous. According to KWAC and some guys, the U's cornerbacks are horrendous. So it's like you guys can beat each other in specific ways. So it's very hard for me to pick a winner from this upcoming Sunday. I don't know who's going to win Sunday. I truly don't.
Well, and I think that also answers your question, Rob. The U and BIC aren't really looking at the Nightcrawlers and taking them seriously yet because they're not on the schedule yet. So I think if you're asking K-Wack, who's on your radar right now headed into week 3? This is a good segue.
Should only be one team.
Yeah, only one team.
And what team would that be?
The U.
ORB Bowl 1.
ORB Bowl 1.
But when we look at the matchup this week, some interesting storylines heading into the game here. Is Sterry and Ashante versus the spread offense of the U. This coming to us from David Soberman, our head researcher and storytelling producer. The BIC have averaged about 5 different players holding the ball at any point during the game. And for the U, it's about 9 players on average during any given game.
Damn.
So that 4-player differential is very interesting, especially when you look at the depth of the Paterson U on both sides of the ball. And the BIC certainly aren't, lacking at many positions when it comes to being 1 to 2, sometimes 3 deep at a position. But the U is built like a fucking hockey team. They have lines and shit. It is concerning. And one good thing, the BIC's offense is more concentrated. The U's offense is more along the lines of the whole is greater than the sum of the parts outside of Huff. And when we look at some of the stuff, Wack, when you take your player hat off and you put your analyst hat on and you look at this Sunday's game, when you hear things like that, when you hear about Sterry having an insane completion percentage, and then when we look at Huff's completion percentage on the season, it's at 74.3%. Against the Animals, he was 16 for 20, completed 80% of his passes, 302 yards. Huff has 668 yards passing on the season, more than what Sterry has so far this season.
And that's against 2 of our teams in the top 10.
Yeah.
That's against the 5 and the 7 team, respectively. That's the dude's balling, apparently. But when we look at the matchup, one of the things that I think is the unspoken glaring thing on your side, Wack, is in the first half last week, because the BIC absolutely dominated the Renegades when you look at the final score and you look at the totality of the game. But that first half, Rob mentioned it in passing. One of the things that I think BIC has to kind of look at this week is how they improve the way that they defend against the run. And although Huff has been absolutely dialing it up offensively, calling plays, staying relatively 50-50, making the defense guess whether it's going to be a run, whether it's going to be a pass, whether he's going to jump and throw it off balance, whether he's going to, pitch it, 30 yards all the way across the field with, just kind of basically just like throwing the ball up in the air and like volleyball spiking it. I don't even know what other sport references to do at this point. He might even bring out, a baseball move and, slide, whatever. He's running double plays out there, playing basketball, volleyball. Renegades in that first half were able to consistently run the ball against BIC. Looking at this matchup and what the hypothetical run game is that she'll face in the U with their offensive line that Rob's already talked about in Games of the Week, with their stable of running backs and a quarterback that can hurt you as well. What's your answer to those questions that not only do the 3 of us in the 3-on-1 podcast have, but maybe the A7FL fans about BIC's rush defense heading into the biggest game so far this season?
What you smiling at, yo?
I think those UFOs coming out again. A lot of surprises. There's gonna be a lot of goats on that field.
But I'm saying, do you think that always helps, or does that hurt sometimes? Because you guys have a lot of talented.
It depends on the combinations that we put out there.
Okay, and you guys have the combination in check. I hope.
This is how Cory just said they was running the ball on us and all that.
Yeah.
When I got on the field, they didn't do that.
Because Cory stopped running the ball in general. It wasn't because of you.
He tried.
You know they fear my legs. When I start running, BIC fears. They're scared.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. I thought Cory might have got one of them jukes. Bro, y'all would never live it down if y'all let Cory juke you. Don't be that guy.
He got me one time.
This season?
Nah, not this season.
Oh, all right. I know Cory good for a few.
He remembers, though. It lives in his head, rent-free. One time in my entire career.
That's why they be trying to kill Cory. You see how he talk? You see that? Cory's a true football player.
They always try to kill. It was funny. Kenny Stansbury tells me before the game. First of all, he told me, "Hey, the game plan is this," and what a flex to tell the opposing quarterback what your game plan is. Fuck you, Kenny, but I love you anyway. But the other thing he told me is that when he was talking to some of the rookies on the defense, and they were saying that they were going to knock me out of the game. K-Wack, you were in that defensive call. What did Kenny Stansbury say to your rookies on the defense, thinking that they could knock old man Cory out the game?
He basically was saying that ball will be coming out fast. You don't always get that many opportunities to.
Well, yeah, that is also true, but
they got the wrong guy. If you think you can knock Cory, listen, I'm not asking you guys to do it.
I'm too dumb to even
I need Cory
until today.
Yeah, I need Cory, so please don't do it.
Yes.
But I don't think y'all can do it. I'm being honest. Cory's
we're not, and by the way, we're not daring you.
Not a challenge, no.
We're not daring you, Ricardo.
Train. Yeah, it's not a challenge. We're just saying.
I must be forgetting we got the white the white trademark green on the team.
Bro, he's terrible. He's terrible.
But when it comes to this rivalry, the BICU rivalry, I think it's become our defining rivalry because it's two of the old guard teams in the league. We have players and managers who have been here since Town Beef. They predate the fucking league we play in. The BIC and the U were the last Town Beef championship before the founding of the A7FL proper. They've played in all but 3 A7FL championships and have won all but 4 A7FL championships. And when you look at stats like that and you think of things like that, that's a defining rivalry. And if you're sick with it in the Insomniacs or you're any of these other teams and rivalries, like I know the Insomniacs and the Nightcrawlers want to be a rivalry, same with Watchmen and the Nightcrawlers, this is going to be a different style of football than we are used to in this league, and it is going to be contentious as all get out. Rob, Wack, you've been on the field, Rob, on both sides. And Wack, you've been on other teams, but you've primarily been on the BIC the last few years. What are these rivalry games like? And what are the things that are going on in the group chats, on the calls, in the captain's meetings, leading up to this game?
Detail. You get down to all the details. I love these matchups. They like a mid-season Super Bowl. I love playing against the U. They bring the best out of me.
Well, last year you guys had one job to do that you didn't do, because Ashanti Worthy and Sterry Codrington as starters for BIC have not lost to a team in the A7FL except for the Paterson U. And with that being said, in a championship, defense run, because you guys were the defending champs, without Huff last year, you lost to this team when you needed to beat them the most, and it ended up being the last game of your season, and the reason, unfortunately, you guys didn't have the chance against the Watchmen in the Northeast Championship, a team in the Watchmen that you had beaten in the matchup during the regular season last year.
They would have beat them again, too.
So we have BIC ranked higher than the U after the performances that we saw in week 2. And the U, for all the things that we just talked about, after week 1, we thought they were pretty damn good, and we probably still have a very high opinion of them. Going into this matchup, K-Wack, having lost to them twice last year without Huff, getting a guy that you guys are familiar with in Jason Cizon, having guys that will obviously show up for this game in Nick Mays, solidifying an offensive line with an additional, guy to throw in there, and Maurice Taylor, and all of the collective things that go into a BICU matchup. How are you guys going to overcome the opponent that last year you guys weren't able to beat, now that they, on paper at least, are even better than they were last year?
I don't think they're better than last year.
What?
I feel like
how so? Like how so?
I mean, the offense is going to be good, but I always say this to y'all: their defense is trash. And this might be the worst U team on defense that I've seen.
But wait. Was their defense trash last year? Because most of the guys that are on your offense right now were there last year.
Yeah, I feel like the defense was trash last year. It's just that when we came out in the playoff game, we was acting unfamiliar. Like, we didn't run the ball with Courage. That was something that
Courage is partying in Brooklyn with all the African baddies. He is not running the ball. Courage is, when I say Courage is done, I don't mean Courage is like, oh, he doesn't have the talent. Courage is a party man. He's not even a boy. He's a party man. Courage doesn't want to play.
Courage gonna show up in flip-flops holding a bottle and then run for 60
Oh, God, he's done.
Listen,
you put on that gold mask and we've never seen him again. Courage is done.
Don't get it twisted. If Courage goes for 15 carries, 200 yards against any team in the league, the one he's going to try to do that against.
It's the U.
Yeah,
it's the U. But to answer Matt's question, because Cory completely derailed that. He went into a whole nother, whole nother Cory tangent, you know what I'm saying? To answer your question, man.
It was a good tangent.
It was a good one. That's why I didn't stop him. That's why I didn't stop him. It was a pretty good
quality tangent thing.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. That's why I didn't stop him at all. Yes. But to answer your question, Matt, those games, and then it's very weird for me being on both sides. Like, I've won a championship again with Wack. I beat his ass for a championship. So it's always a little bittersweet to look at him. He won't smile at that. He won't smile at that shit at all. You know what I'm saying? But that's the only thing I got over them, and I'm gonna hold that. But it's very weird for me because I was on both sides of it. And on the BIC side, on the U side, I'm not gonna lie, it's very much the same. There's a different kind of focus. With BIC, there's more attention to detail, more attention to matchups, attention to, hey, we're exploiting him. We're running plays at him. You feel me? It might be different with Sterry, because Sterry is a cerebral guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to lie. I would love to come back for one season and play, you know what I'm saying, play as an offensive lineman for Sterry Codrington, just so I can really get – I would actually love to block for him so I could really get a peek into how he plays quarterback, because – on the outside looking in,
don't you fucking do it. I'm looking at you, K-Wack. Don't you fucking do it.
Because it looks phenomenal from the outside looking in. And I got an opportunity to play with Huff. And holy shit, like, we're talking 3-4 plays in advance, knowing where everyone's going to be. And it's like, it's like, we don't talk, on the U, we didn't talk details. But on BIC, we talk details. On the U, we let Huff do what he does. He knew what to do.
Well, for BIC, it would be details. Go ahead, man. My bad.
No. Cory, make your point. I can wait.
For BIC, it would be details, like Rob's saying. For me, and I'm not in the huddle, so whatever. But Rob, disagree if you're wrong. Against BIC for the U, it's intensity.
Yeah.
Right. I think because last week we saw the U against the Animals, and I'm not going to say that the Animals didn't bring out the best in the U. I think the U were trying on all of those plays that the Animals got to stop them with all of what they had. But there is definitely going to be a different intensity level from the first snap of the game to the end of the game from that team, from Paterson in dark green and orange. And it's what kind of really makes this rivalry as great as it is, because when Matt mentioned it in the lead up to this conversation, he was mentioning teams that are working into trying to build a rivalry like this. But the fact is it's not just the animosity between the two sides and that they're constantly going at each other. It's the results of the games that matter. And all of these matchups, whether you go back to the beginning of the league or even before the league started, most, if not all of them, are competitive until the end. And the fact that the separation between these two teams is usually a touchdown or less, it really just goes to show you that when this game is on the schedule, every person on both rosters has to raise their level. And what I think is the most awesome part of these matchups, it's usually a guy that we are either not as familiar with or eventually do become much more familiar with, that steps up and makes the difference in these games. And K-Wack, talking to you about your side, and it seems like you're pretty confident, and you're reflecting probably your team's confidence going into this matchup. You said that the U isn't as good as they were last year. Their offense is better, but their defense is trash. Fair. Who on your sideline do you think is going to make the biggest difference that you guys added?
Ooh, good question.
In this matchup.
Wait. Can we play the say something nice game? Same exact question Cory asked. No, same exact question. But I want you to say who on the U sideline would make the difference.
This is going to hurt so badly.
You have to
do it, K-Wack. You're on our show.
You have to do it. You have to do it, bro.
This isn't Instagram Live. You can't filibuster. Just answer the question.
Oh, shit.
This ain't StreamYard, sir.
Let's talk about it, Wack.
Yeah.
Who from their squad is stepping up?
From the youth squad?
Mm-hmm.
It will have to be Jason.
Yeah.
Sissa.
Okay.
That's fair.
So, so to answer the hard question, he goes with a former BIC guy.
Well,
that's
Jason
funny, right?
Sissad
Funny,
is
right?
someone that we've been talking about after Sunday as an MVP candidate. So
Very true.
I called it preseason.
You did.
You did.
Korstradamus
definitely did
hit hard. But when we look at the two offenses, Rob, you were talking about the details and the BIC being very meticulous. I think that's become a big part of Sterry's identity, because we've noted it during not only this show but during the games of the week, the marked change in how he plays as a quarterback, because the way he played when he took over for CP in 2021 and how he plays now is markedly different, and you see that in his accuracy, in his stats, in the pure yards he puts up.
I think when you look at the numbers, because you don't even have to kind of tell that story, you don't even have to look at the actual film. I mean, obviously watching is fun, unless you're, a member of the Renegades and you're one of the victims, I guess. But look at the stats. Matt, how many rushing attempts? Don't say the yards. You already said it. But how many rushing attempts did he have?
When it comes to rushing attempts, he had Sterry himself had 2 rushing attempts.
Twice the entire game, he decided, okay, I'm going to use my legs. Now, again, we talked about the really disrespectful total yards he had.
Do you want to know how both of those plays ended, Cory?
I know how both of those plays ended. I was there.
What my man said.
Just shut up, Rob. I have no sympathy for you in the fucking hospital. No, I'm just joking.
Cory, it's your birthday. Be nice.
Cory, why you do that, Cory? Why did
you do that? I know he wants to do it, and I know why he did it, because it's football, right? Anyway.
Oh my God, no, Sterry. Listen, man, Sterry looks disgusting, and it's Afro Sterry right now.
Problem.
He looks like a monster, bro.
It's number 8 Kobe.
He's completed.
He even has a little bit of that goatee, I think, going. So he's going disrespectful number 8 Kobe Bryant on us. And,
I'm gonna be honest, right? I'm gonna be honest. We talk about Huff. We talk about Huff and how different he is, and it's hard to compare Huff directly with Sterry because their play styles are so different. But holy shit, it is amazing watching Sterry play the position of quarterback. What the? I mean, damn.
Like, well, and what he's become over the couple of years as he's evolved is he's doing a lot of the stereotypical, traditional quarterback things where and his counterpart in this game, you watch what Huff does. Very few times can and it's mastery level quarterbacking, but very few times can you describe what he's doing as traditional.
No,
which I think makes it almost impossible for the defense in that sense because
I don't.
But for what Sterry's doing, go ahead, Wack.
Wack, you're still cutting in and out. What you say, Wack?
I feel like I don't know if Huff could play that style. I
don't think
like him being creative like that, it benefits him so much. You know what I'm saying? If he played a regular way, well, he used to. This is how I know the difference. He used to before he created the Harrop offense that he got.
Yeah.
And he wasn't as successful.
He wasn't as successful, no.
The Harrop offense is when his game changed.
And here's a fun fact.
He runs fast break football.
Here's a fun fact, though, Wack. You know what percentage of Sterry's passes have gone for touchdowns?
This is interesting.
When you have Kason Campbell and Ashanti Worthy and Umar Butter Lewis and all those guys, yeah. Man, shut up.
Yeah, guess.
Not the guess. I'd say around 2%.
I feel personally disrespected at this internet, K-Wack, because when you're on RTU, your internet is fine. Okay? Step your game up. You're good at football. Figure out this.
Right by the airport.
Man, it's not the planes. They turn off the internet.
Not all the time.
It's called airplane mode. Is your phone on airplane mode? Is that what you're doing, Wack?
I'm not on the phone.
You're literally so much better at football than you are at this.
I'm dead. Cory, why'd you do that?
But the correct answer is 43.48%.
He has a higher percentage of touchdowns than I have completion percentage. What the fuck?
He's got 10 He's got
Sterry's not.
He's got 10 touchdowns on the season, and he's completed 23 passes.
And that's the problem.
29.
I think when teams are watching 29, that's insane, bro. I think when teams are watching Huff and watching Sterry, they go, okay, I see what Sterry's doing. I've seen it before, but you haven't seen it the way he does it. I've never seen what Huff does, but is it that impressive? It is when you have to play against it. And I think both of those things can remain true. And just the fact that this Sunday, you think I'm going to let this little whatever the hell got me in the hospital going to make me miss this game? You're bugging. I'm going to be there bright and early. Breakfast up, nice, take a sip of tea, cold water, ready to call this damn game. I'm counting the days, bro. I'm counting the minutes.
Rob,
right?
Do you guys want to know?
Idea how excited I am.
So 12:45, Rob.
Do you guys want to know what the percentage was for Huff so far this season? They have the same number of touchdowns.
What?
37.8.
They have the same number of
touchdowns. They both have 10 touchdowns.
I bet you I'm close.
You're scary close. You are off by 1%, but you didn't go over.
Shit.
By Price is Right rules, you're okay. It's 38.4%.
Damn.
You know what's crazy? Let's do the comparison. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. But I also want to just make a greater point. For anybody that wants to try to pin one or the other, or what's better or what's worse, you're losing the point of watching brilliance. It's like what our entire generation did to LeBron James. By comparing him to other people, he's about to retire, and you missed out on one of the greatest careers of all time. You guys were just losers whining about.
Facts.
Bro, he went to more finals, and I'm not even a LeBron guy, but this is kind of the thing that we're talking about. We're talking about two of maybe the greatest that will ever play this game. Also, look at the collective playmakers for both guys and what those guys are doing when they get the ball in their hands. Because we could talk about the quarterback stats and how they're distributing the ball. But when you look at what Ashanti Worthy's doing, it's Rob said it's disgusting. So we can go on that theme. It's absolutely nauseating. You need Dramamine for that type of sickness. And shout outs to Sick With It, which I think should have been ranked higher in our top 10. I will die on that hill this weekend. But when you also look at what and then obviously what Huff is doing, but we just said Ashanti Worthy. There's guys.
I mean, Sterry Codgerton, Sterry.
Right, but I was talking about the list of the playmakers. There's guys on BIC's roster that I felt justified in doing this. It's not a hidden nugget that I was recruiting Trey Cohen, trying to get him on whatever squad I was going to be on, saying, hey, do you want to catch more than just the one token pass a game? And a player that good, and I watched him run a 10-yard in route, and he had impeccable footwork. He was wide open on the break, and it's just, hey, guess what? Ashanti Worthy was open on that play too. For a guy like Trey Cohen, as great as he is, for me to be able to look at him when he's standing near my sideline in that wide receiver stance and say, hey, you would have had more catches if you were on my sideline. And I could say that just shows you the incredible depth that the BIC has. And then look at what the U does. They can hide one of the greatest wide receivers in the history of our league, maybe the greatest wide receiver I've ever thrown to, in Pat Coburn in a bunch set with a shiesty on and somebody else's jersey, and he gets the first touchdown of the game on a jump pass from. That's how deep they are, is they can hide Pat Coburn.
Cory's point just now made me want to ask a question, and I'm gonna ask it to Wack, being that you're, and Cory you can answer too because you play.
Well, if his internet messes up again, I will.
Of course. Are these the best two U and BIC teams we've seen to date playing against each other this Sunday?
No.
Really?
I'm only going to say no because, like I said earlier, I feel like this is the U worst defense since I joined the league.
Well, Wack,
On the offense, yeah, they're gonna have a great offense.
So what do you say to them having 13 sacks so far this season? You have 13 sacks on the year. Isaac has 5. Kevin White has 3.
That's not gonna happen.
Hold on, whoa! I gotta call you. I can't let you say all that. You understand you let Sterry get sacked 3 times at one point in the game when Cory was only sacked once, right? You do know that?
That's when I was still running the ball.
Yeah.
That was calling run plays. That's why.
But you understand that though, right?
I do.
So
traditionally, Sterry gets pressured by the Renegades. Let's be honest.
The thing about these sack stats is that while the U have 5 people who have gotten 1 sack, but after that it's just Kevin White and Isaac Negron. White with 3, Negron with 5. Conversely, when it comes to the BIC, they have 3 players. K-Wack, you're one of them. Ole Bell and Trey Robinson with 1 sack. But then you have Rashad Knight and the ice cream truck with 2. And then at the top of the list for the BIC, John Columbia's crazy ass has 3 sacks so far on the season. So there's a little bit more volume from specific players on the BIC defense, but the sheer fact that 5 separate people have at least 1 sack, and then you have 7 different players, you have essentially an entire defense it equates to getting at least 1 sack on the season for the U. That's impressive.
Yeah, what about the U defense? What about the U defense do you think you said they're trash. What about the U defense are they lacking right now? What's their vulnerability?
It's the secondary.
So again, I asked the question I asked online. Who has the best secondary?
Oh, you know who got the best secondary? We do.
You guys. Who have you played to prove that you have the best secondary?
It's the combination of our D-line and our secondary. It's a combination of both. We didn't give up no touchdowns.
You did.
What are you talking about?
I threw a touchdown against you guys.
Secondary?
I mean, I threw the ball. I don't know what you want to say. I mean, Dondre is 6'8".
Well, yeah. I mean, you couldn't include the linebacker. I'm not include the linebacker. You're right. Only gave up one touchdown to.
Well, on the other team he played was Snow Tribe. Mike Liberty was playing quarterback. Mike Liberty started a quarterback for Snow Tribe.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count. But and another question I have for you, Wack. Right? Another question. This is the glaring question because this is one of the reasons why I personally think y'all lost last year. What have y'all done to improve your D-line so you guys stop getting bullied and pushed around by the U's offensive line? Because that's exactly why y'all lost last year. Those guys, big boy job. So what have y'all done to make a change there?
That's not what I was, but I say we got bigger on the D-line.
Hey, yo.
We got a little bigger.
Nah, big up plays for the U.
Shut up, Cory.
I see what you did there. You got bigger where? Pause. Holy hell, never mind.
Well, to give some credence to Wack's point.
Nope, that stays.
Sterry was getting around 3 to 4 seconds in the pocket on average.
Yeah, he was.
So the offensive line definitely stepping up and giving Sterry a lot more time. And you can see him kind of going through his progressions and reading the New York Times.
Isn't it supposed to be my birthday, Matt?
I'm sorry,
and you're throwing that in my face again?
I gotta do my fucking job.
That's true. I don't want to keep you from doing your job, but I want somebody to help me to be able to do mine.
If you are a large human and can push people, a bouncer, a goalie,
Rob,
you a former sumo wrestler,
Rob.
do you have $100?
I'm in the hospital.
Yo, Rob literally just said he wants to play with Sterry, and I ask him all the time, can he help? And he says, I can't. I want you to get hurt.
He's in the fucking hospital, Cory.
He's never said that.
You're asking our friend that is literally in a hospital bed, yo, Rob, I know you might be dying, though, but dog, Sunday, Baltimore, watch me,
bro.
I'll take you.
I'm going to ask you a yes or no question. Did he literally on this pod, yes or no? Did he literally on this pod say if he comes back, he's playing with a different quarterback who's not his buddy in the booth? Yeah, he did. Yes,
I didn't say
that.
He said he would play with Sterry.
You literally said that. He wants. If I came back, fuck Corey Hammond. I know how he plays quarterback, and it's ass. Look at it. Look at his record. Sterry,
that's not.
I'm joking.
Yo, I really hope BetterHelp becomes a sponsor for me and Cory because we both fucking need it. Oh, my therapist needs help.
Yo, that's.
You want to just do a BetterHelp read and maybe they'll just latch on?
That's hilarious. K-Wack.
Rich license.
What's the question, Wacky? Yo,
how many sacks y'all think they're gonna have against us this week?
I mean, don't you wake up and go to sleep with the same amount every night and day?
Not this guy.
I see what he did there.
What?
Or you are.
He's got 1 sack on a season. That's what I'm saying. It's a strip sack too. He's got the strip and the sack.
Okay, Cory. You got it. You got it.
You know, I'm glad we've evolved past the bad boy entertainment references too, because we could have went heavy on those. But anyway, keep going.
Super. But I can say you guys gave up 3 in total to the Renegades.
Mm-hmm.
5 sacks.
You're gonna be fully staffed.
5 sacks. 5 sacks.
Damn.
5 sacks.
5 sacks.
I don't know who's giving up those sacks.
I mean, if they let y'all hold like they did last week, nobody's giving up sacks. I'll play on Sunday if they let me hold like that.
After what happened to Olay, I don't want to hear nobody complain about holding it all season.
No. That's my problem with y'all. When it happens to your man's now, it's a problem. But when somebody gets picked up,
no. Completely silent on the other. Completely silent on the other comment in post, right? No BIC guys commented on that.
No BIC guys said a word.
But the one where Dondre treated Olay
his reception
like
went out. He
like
couldn't see it. Nah, Facebook wasn't loading.
Olay got moved, fucking tossed like a rag doll. Now it's holding everywhere. But your man, Big Boss Man, put on some black sunglasses and bowled somebody out of the club. It's cool. That's a great block. Y'all some biased motherfuckers, man. I can't deal with y'all, man. Both of those was holding calls.
Yeah, which is why we had him on the pod, because he's, been honest about how ass.
I'm listening.
We learn from the best.
What you say?
You learn from the best.
You learn from the best, he's saying. He's trying to say, as a young whack, as a young Wactor, he learned from the best.
Young Wactor is crazy.
You know what's crazy? I went to the barbershop today, and they had you on the TV.
Me?
So a classic. I'm talking about, like, what year was it? Like 2013.
Oh.
The culture's, yeah, the culture's real. The culture's real.
Heavy
classic. I said, you know about that? I'm always watching Town Beef.
Heavy classic.
But
talk about Skinny Rob wearing 55.
You know the vibes.
I want to end this podcast
I do
with
know the vibes.
The things we're most excited for. Whack, what's the one thing you're most excited for this Sunday, aside from the fact that if you guys win, we forgot to talk about the fucking fact that it's the ORB BOWL. It is ORB BOWL 1, or just the ORB BOWL on Sunday. On Monday night, when we were talking about this, we hastily decided, yeah, fuck it, we'll call it the ORB BOWL, because we thought there needs to be something for this game. Like some sort of stake, some sort of prize, and, well, I'm broke. So we go to the ORB.
Yo, listen, don't explain it to these plebes. You guys get the ORB BOWL and like it. You're getting the ORB, the ORB BOWL. And there's going to be an ORB, and it's going to be a thing, and that's it. And nobody needs an explanation. We just go with it and be thankful that you're getting BIC, the U, and that the ORB is on the line.
Y'all already gave me extra motivation by posting the shirt over the last play from last year.
And you went to tinyurl.com/A7FL merch. That's tinyurl.com/A7FL merch and got the ORB BOWL 1 t-shirt. Did you not?
It's only $20. It's $20.10. Add the extra 10 cents for printing charges.
Which is a bargain. You know what people charge for printing charges across the interwebs? It's more than 10 cents. tinyurl.com/A7FL merch. That's tinyurl.com/A7FL merch.
I'm so
yeah. How was that? I would purposely Stu Gotts just to avoid the accountability of actually doing it well, but that was a good read.
But Whack, what's the one thing you're looking forward to most aside from holding the ORB on high this Sunday?
I thought you were going to say holding the jerseys.
Hilarious.
I just want to win a game. That's it. Nothing special.
Oh, nothing special?
Nothing special. Let
me just say, in the many episode history of this pod, and this is not a personal indictment, K-Wack.
Let's move 1 second. Hold on, guys.
You have an excuse. You have an excuse. Back to K-Wack. In the many episode history of this podcast, K-Wack, and you are a great football player and a very good human being, and we love Mama Wack. She raised a good kid. You are one of the, by far, the worst guests on this show. That's the answer you just had for that? And with the internet that you brought to this, yo, you are way better on Instagram. Why are you giving us this level of performance?
I'm big time, my guy.
You hear how you just sounded answering back? What are you most excited about this weekend?
Get out of me. Hell no.
What about you, Cory? What's the thing you're most excited about this Sunday?
Well, for me, unless I get to meet the newest member of the Hammond family, Hudson Briggs, which it's getting close, guys. I'm super excited to hang out with my
plan in case Hudson was coming. Like, I got a text from Jess saying, "Hey, get Cory," while he was playing against the BIC. We were going to have Zach Morgan or one of our producers literally run on the field and get that motherfucker going and carry his ass to his car to make sure he saw the birth of his son.
Well, see, be there, one of the things, we're pros at this thing. It might go quick. But other than that hypothetical possibility, which we'll see, very excited to hang out with all of my good friends from Baltimore, and obviously tongue in cheek, ha ha ha. But to be clear, some of the best dudes in our league, some of the most athletic, and bravest members of the A7FL for the history that it's existed. We're talking about the Watchmen, but it includes a bunch of Gator stars, Cobra stars, and I always like to play against the tougher competition. I like to kind of test my mettle against guys that are going to, put me to the test. And when you're talking about Freight Train, when you're talking about Wolverine, you're talking about some of the other guys that are on that roster that I've had some, pretty memorable matchups for me, at least. It'll be exciting for me this weekend because that's what I'm excited about. So personally, good luck this weekend, K-Wack, but honestly, since I'm not calling the game, I could give a shit. It's Watchmen all week for me. Rob,
what about you?
You don't need luck when this guy's playing.
Is God's plan if you guys lose, it's still God's plan because you guys were meant to lose that game? Is it the book of Job?
Hit him
what if God says, look, let's test the brothers in Christ. Let's test them. You're a Bible guy. You know the book of Job. You bought Trump's Bible for $60.
Yo, Cory is wilding tonight. You can tell it's your birthday. Go ahead, bad girl.
Psychopath.
Yeah. Cory acting like a bad bitch tonight.
Listen. I feel like this is the same exact energy every week.
Bad Girls Club Cory crazy.
That's crazy.
VIP Club Cory.
No, that guy's a monster.
BBL Cory going crazy.
BBL Cory's insane, bro. No way.
That's worse than calling Big Bravado Wilkerson BBW. BBL Cory is worse than Big Bravado Wilkerson. Are we doing a shirt, BBL Cory? I'll endorse it.
No. All right. See, that's your problem. Y'all taking it too far.
Jess is shaking her head no.
You started this, Rob?
Yeah, you started it. He's like, yo, you took it too far. I like the joke. Just leave it. Let it lie. Anyway, Rob, what are you looking forward to this weekend? I think we were talking about.
I'm looking forward to, honestly, bro. That BICU game is all I'm looking forward to. I'll call all the other games, but that's such an intense matchup. You guys know what that game specifically means for me. It's two teams that I held up a trophy with. I have a brotherhood with a bunch of guys on BIC. I have a brotherhood with a bunch of guys on the U. It's really nice to sit back, kick my feet up, and not be sore Monday morning, but get to watch the intensity of that game. I'm here for that game. No matter who wins, who loses, that might be my favorite game of the year so far.
Imagine y'all could have been on the field.
Huh?
Imagine y'all could have been on the field.
I'm on the field right now. I'm on the hospital field, man. I'm cooked. Leave me alone. Because BIC likes surprises, man.
Having Rob at this part in his career, having Rob in the booth sends him to the hospital. What are you trying to do to him, man?
I believe that.
That wasn't fair, Rob. That
I love it.
It was a well-placed joke. It was a well-placed joke, but it wasn't fair. This guy's tougher than all of you listening, by the way. By the way. So, but answer me, K-Wack. Is it God's plan if you guys lose?
Yes, it's always God's plan. This how it was when we lost in 2021, and we came back and got it back in blood.
So exactly, and I think that's what happened last year. So it was God's plan last year. We'll see what is this year. What's your prediction for the game? Obviously, you're going to say BIC wins. Tell us how that goes.
Score-wise, or just like in general?
Nah, just whatever. I don't know. It's an open-ended question, so you could.
I feel like the score won't be 42 to 28.
So two-score game, right? Two-score game. What's the difference? What's the difference that leads it to the first two-score game in recent history for that matchup?
It's going to be the defense. It's going to be the defense. Whatever defense play the better game that day, that's the team that's going to win.
How many turnovers does BIC have to force for you guys to win by 2 scores?
So,
do you think that the way that the U feels comfortable with the way they're pitching the ball back and forth, is that what you're looking at as turnovers?
no, I don't think they won't doing that much against us. He gonna be more methodical in his stance against us.
Well, all right.
So I was going to ask Rob about sick-witted OTT, but I don't think we get that next week.
No, but we'll wrap here. I'm going to just reset and then close. And on that note, that has been this edition of the 3-on-1 podcast. I want to thank K-Wack, Karnell Wactor, for joining us on the show. Wack, as always, it has been fantastic having you here on the podcast.
Yeah, when we could hear you. I'm not thanking you for that. Get your internet fixed, bro.
It's my energies.
It's the stupid planes. I'm mad at these planes.
Big Rob laid up in the hospital. Our best to Big Rob. We love you, Big Rob. And for
yeah, bro. We're glad we could distract you from that garbage.
And for the birthday boy, Cory.
Hey, Cory, when I get that sack, I'm gonna say this is for Cory.
But for the birthday boy, Cory Hammond, I'm Matt Ryan, saying as always, don't be an asshole.
I'll try.